Good morning, how are you today? Welcome to 6 ways to recognise and deal with inadequacy. My name's Linda, I'm your trauma recovery coach. If you're here for the replay, hit me up with a hashtag replay down below. And if you're here this morning, welcome. We're in beautiful Brisbane, Australia today, and it's wonderful to drop by and share some information with you. Grab a note, paper and pen, because the information that you hear today, something will just go swing and stand out. It really will. And that's the thing that you want to grab hold of and you want to deal with your therapist, with your trauma coach, with your mentor, and you want to grab hold of it and grab strategies. You want to be curious about it. You want to grab insight into it. And as you do that and you become aware of what's happening on the outside in your life around that subject, you're going to be able to become aware of what's happening internally. CPtsd actually keeps us from becoming aware internally because our brain has been conditioned to have certain responses. So we've got to work a bit harder to get hold of the internal in order that we can change it up. Okay. Now, for the moment, I'll just grab our infographic for today, which I will put up down below when we're finished. If you're here, say g'day. It's really easy. Speak some Aussie. Okay, so we want to go through 6 reasons why we feel inadequate. As an adult, we can feel ill-equipped, especially when we've come through a childhood where we've had in the complex Ptsd situation, we haven't necessarily had time to learn anything socially. We haven't had time to understand the dynamics of a family except from a negative impact. And we come out of it, especially as parents, we can come out of that kind of upbringing feeling really inadequate and feeling ill-equipped to do the role of parenting. My goodness, when I was raising my kids, there was no internet. It just didn't happen. So we had to rely on, grabbing the latest book on how to help, raise your kids. What do you do? How do you prepare when you've got a baby? Etc., etc. Only to find out years later, and actually this happened before my generation too, with the whole Dr. Spock. Decades later, they realised that wasn't the healthiest way to raise kids. And the guy that was around when I was raising my kids wasn't 100% on track either. But that's how we learn and evolve. So it's okay. And so now we are able to gain that education, but anxiety can keep us from taking hold of that education and going, right, I'm going to try. I'm going to have a go. We can feel inadequate when it comes to intelligence, to economics, but these are all things that we can sit down now, get on the internet and learn. And there are lots of small businesses around that will help you learn anything that you need to do. This week I'm doing a series on emotional resilience over on my business page because we as mums, as parents, as caregivers, as family members, we need to know about emotional intelligence, emotional resilience, what it looks like, how we deal with our kids' emotions or the kids that are around us. How do we go about this? Give me some information so that I can take it into the practical. And when we do things like this, it'll eradicate that we feel ill-equipped because we have got information that we can implement into our day-to-day life and go, wow, this works, okay? Poor self-image. And that's going to come up and out of childhood adverse experiences, okay? Whether we like it or not, doesn't matter. It's going to happen from the upbringing that we had. So we're going to come out of that upbringing going, who am I? I feel unworthy. I'm undeserving of all good things. And the bottom line is in life, we have to come off the giving cycle, okay? So part of our adverse childhood experiences was that if we sat back and observed everything that was going on, we could identify places where we could be helpful in order that we would get some attention. And it usually didn't result in the attention that we wanted, but it was any type of attention that said, I see you, okay? But as adults, now our job, our work is to say, I see who I am, okay? I know that I am worthy. And we do this work with professionals. We don't sit at home going, well, how the heck am I going to do that? How am I going to work it out? You don't have to work it out alone, okay? Trauma happened within a personal relationship. So we have to access safe, healthy relationships in order that we have good reflections of what's happening and we can continue to learn and grow. And that way our self-image does become more healthy each day as we take one more step towards understanding who I am. All right? Comparison. Oh my goodness. Comparison when I was raising kids was just about whether it was, the mothers at the school who were rude and, cliquey and, didn't accept anyone that wasn't like them, to a whole new world now where comparison, people get on social media and go, oh, my life's like that, not like that, so I'm lacking. They compare, oh, my life's not like that, so then I must be really miserable. And we can't do that, okay, because it's not reality. The life that we see of others on social media, unless you follow me, who I'm really blunt about, there's challenges, can look picture perfect. And the reality is, as a special person I know says, we see date night, we don't see fight night on social media. So I want you to remember that. We never see people when they're having fight night, ever. No one ever posts pictures of that, or the reality that, we don't always agree and we are going to have arguments. And then how we solve the arguments. They're just going to keep posting pretty pictures. And look, some of them are just divine to look at, but we can't compare ourselves, all right? We've got to come off the regular fear trigger of comparing ourselves and looking at everyone and examining in order that I will feel safe, okay? I observe in order that I understand what's going on socially, because socially things are really hard when you've got complex PTSD. People don't understand what it takes to be social when you've got complex PTSD. And actually, one of the things when we come through adverse childhood experiences is that we don't get the social. We have to learn it as adults, okay? So comparing our lives to anyone or anything else is futile. It's just going to reinforce your poor self-image, and no, you can say no to that from now on. No more comparing myself to anyone or anything. Who I am is good. You're a kind person, you're caring, you're compassionate. Now just bring it all and show it for yourself too, okay? Now I want to talk to you a little bit about weak faith. When I first read that, I went, that sounds dreadful, but when you put it into the context of complex PTSD, scientists have actually discovered the spiritual part of our brain. They just don't know what's the healthy thing to do with it at this point in time. Now, when we come through adverse childhood experiences, the spiritual side of things is something that it makes us, depending on which adverse childhood experience that we went through, can make us want to stand back and not poke the bear of spirituality. Spirituality is a path that we start on at one point. It's like everything else. And as we journey through it, we build into ourselves a deeper awareness of what fits inside of us. I know from personal experience that... One second. Oh no. excuse me, it's acupuncture day for the hay fever. I know that there are adults that can set themselves up in our lives as God. So the last thing any of us want to do is go anywhere near any type of spirituality. The good news is that we need to start somewhere. It's part of having a healthy brain. And our spirituality, if you do things like Alcoholics Anonymous, it's about knowing and understanding we have a greater power and what that power looks like to you. How does that fit into your life? Where is it? And we do this in order that we begin to learn to doubt the doubts, to replace fear with love, to deal with the insecurities by developing a secure attachment within ourselves. Okay? And these are all part of developing into our spirituality to know what sits well inside of us. And over time, that spirituality, whatever it is with you, grows deeper and deeper and deeper, as does our understanding of ourself, our passion, our purpose, and our ability to feel alive and want to get up and pursue life, as opposed to anything that our brain wants to keep repeating. And it does. In recovery, our brain will keep repeating until we can get in and feel and experience and relax our muscles and a whole lot more. Okay? It's not your fault what's happened. It's what we choose to do from here. Another part of inadequacy is criticism. When we have self-criticism, or when other people criticize us, especially as children, we lose confidence and then we do feel inadequate. It's like we begin to question ourselves instead of questioning the circumstances around us. Okay? So as a child, I blame myself for what's going on instead of blaming the circumstances. And as adults, we need to be prepared to sit back and go, no, it's not about blaming me, it's about dealing with the circumstances, okay? So, and this year, not this year, towards the end of last year, as I listened to my thoughts, I realised, oh my goodness, my thoughts. I'm my own worst bully. This has got to stop. Why would I bully myself? But it's like being programmed into us as a safety mechanism from childhood. So as an adult, I begin to deal with it effectively. Well, when it came to hearing thoughts where I was bullying myself, I went, yeah, no, that's got to stop. Absolutely, that's stopping. It happened twice, and then I just went, no, I'm not buying into that at all. No way. So as we go along the recovery path, we begin to realise that we can change all of this. Absolutely all of it. And that way, when we're not criticising ourselves, we're not looking outward as well to see what we need to criticise in order to be safe, which is what we did as children. Okay? Everything that we did as a child was a mechanism to keep me safe. That's all I knew. Okay? As adults, we go down a whole different pathway. We've got to flip it all around. Failures! Oh my goodness. One of the things with complex PTSD can be perfectionism. And I've spoken about this in the past, where decades ago, I never used to talk unless I knew I was right. Like, there'd be no conversation. I'd listen to everybody, and then I wouldn't talk unless I knew I was right. And you know what? I bet you I drove people nuts. Absolutely nuts. But it wasn't until I had the language around complex PTSD to understand that we come out of the adverse childhood experiences with perfectionism in order that I keep myself safe, that I began to understand I am also safe to make mistakes. It's okay. And I can honestly say that the whole growth process through understanding, unpacking, the awareness of I'm safe to make mistakes in the physical world, it was like, wow, I can relax. It's okay. I don't have to be right. I don't have to keep myself safe because I can apologise. I can recognise when I make a mistake. I can go and equip myself with further information and so much more. Okay, and look, it can make us feel defeated. It really can. But as I was reading this morning, our fears, hang on, I brought it out here because I knew when it came to it, I would forget the exact words. Fear can be what we feel, but brave is what we do. And this year, my word is brave, and we are braver than we know, and we do brave together. Absolutely together, all the time. Okay, I'm going to put the infographic down below for you so that you can pick one, work with your therapist or your trauma coach, and work through a deeper understanding of it, work through strategies for day-to-day life, okay, in the area that you can see that it's impacting you and stopping you from growing and moving forward. If it's impacting your children, you can pick that, gain information and strategies, and keep you both moving forward, keep that communication happening. Okay? Remember, we're the turtles. We win the race. The hare didn't win the race. The turtles did. And we do one step, once a day, every day. And this time next year, our whole life will have progressed even further into the space and place that we really want it to be. Have the most gorgeous day. Thanks for joining in. And I will see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.